You won't believe this, but last month I got fined by my HOA for collecting rainwater. Yeah, actual rain. The kind that falls from the sky, hits my roof, and runs into my gutters. The violation notice was taped to my door in a plastic sleeve, stamped with the HOA's ugly logo. It read, "Unauthorized rainwater collection, $75 per day until removed." I laughed at first. I thought it had to be some clerical mistake. Who fines a man for using a rain barrel? But the fine wasn't a mistake. I'm Mark, and I live in Maple Creek Estates, one of those manicured suburban neighborhoods where the lawns are always trimmed too short and the mailboxes all match. My wife and I bought here because of the backyard. I love gardening. Tomatoes, peppers, herbs, all thriving thanks to a few barrels of rainwater I collected. It felt like independence. Apparently, independence was against the rules. The next morning, I emailed the HOA office, assuming they'd clear it up. Instead, I got a curt reply from the president himself, Mr. Sterling. "There is no error. All rainwater within Maple Creek Estates is community property. Remove the barrels immediately." Community property? It was falling on my roof. I ignored the warning. 3 days later, a brand new bylaw appeared on the neighborhood bulletin board. Effective immediately, all rainwater runoff belongs to the HOA. They weren't kidding. The Greens, my neighbors who keep a huge vegetable patch, got their own violation. Another resident got cited just for leaving a flower pot under his downspout. It was spreading like a plague. That night, our neighborhood Facebook group exploded. People were furious, but some were terrified too. The fines doubled every week. A few residents caved and drained their barrels. Mr. Sterling addressed us in a polished letter that oozed condescension. This policy ensures proper community resource management. Individual hoarding of rainwater is selfish and unsafe. Selfish? Unsafe? It was water. I might have let it go, but Mrs. Rodriguez changed my mind. She's lived here for decades, older, sharp as ever. She pulled me aside on her porch and whispered, "This isn't about conservation. Years ago, Sterling pushed for a mandatory security patrol. Guess who owned the company? Him. He's got another scheme brewing, I guarantee it." That planted the seed. The next week, the Greens and I started digging. Public records, HOA financial statements, even minutes from past meetings. It took hours of scanning through dull paperwork, but then we struck gold. A series of payments from HOA funds to a company called Clearstream Utilities, LLC. And the owner of Clearstream? None other than Mr. Sterling. It was a shell company. The new rainwater bylaw wasn't about community management. It was about profit. Sterling was planning to sell our rainwater back to us through a community reclamation system he pitched in a draft proposal. He wanted us to pay for the very water we'd been collecting for free. I couldn't keep quiet. The next HOA meeting was packed. Sterling stood at the front in his suit, smug as always. He announced new penalties for illegal water theft, talking like he was saving civilization. I raised my hand. "Mr. Sterling, care to explain why Clearstream Utilities, LLC is receiving payments from HOA funds?" The room went silent. Sterling's smile froze. "I have no idea what you're—" I held up the printouts, payment records, emails, a board memo with his signature. Gasps erupted. People started shouting. Someone recorded the whole thing on their phone. Sterling lost his composure. "This is slander! You don't understand!" But it was too late. The evidence was undeniable. Even his allies on the board looked ready to abandon him. Within a week, Sterling was forced to resign. Lawyers started circling. The rainwater bylaw was repealed. And for the first time since we moved here, the community actually felt united. The Greens threw a block party, everyone sipping lemonade made with fresh rainwater from their barrels. Mrs. Rodriguez raised her glass to me and said, "Told you he was running a scam." I sat back in my chair, listening to the rain pattering on the roofs, dripping steadily into the barrels. They tried to tax the sky, but in the end, The rain belonged to all of us.